Hello, it's Alex with the Solution Consulting team at Panatrack, and today we're going to have a brief review of the PanatrackerGP Fixed Asset Module. The Panatrack Fixed Asset Module is designed to allow users with mobile devices to create, edit, validate, and interact with the physical tracking of the fixed assets that are maintained in GP. All financial data, including the ability to remove an asset record, is kept exclusively to the GP users, allowing the accounting team to hand off the physical management of assets without giving up the financial oversight. The 6 transactions that make up the fixed asset module allow for organizations to better manage the physical handling of locations and assets. Companies that are currently tracking where assets are located, from computers and equipment to vehicles and medical devices, now have an easy way to ensure assets are not lost in the shuffle. As mentioned previously, the Panatrack solution uses Dynamics GP as the host database. This means depreciation, asset removal, and all other accounting principles are still in effect for all of these items. Add asset allows for the creation of a new fixed asset in Dynamics GP, where the user will enter all the physical characteristics of the asset that can include the make, model, serial number, location, physical location, and many more. The accounting team still manages values within Dynamics. Update asset allows for the capture of an asset movement or reassignment, for example, when a machine is moved from one office or custodian to another. The validate asset transaction acts as a physical inventory of a location, allowing a user to confirm that the assets in a bay or an area are all appropriately managed and updated within Dynamics GP. Asset query allows a user to select an asset by entering or scanning the tag to see all of the relevant information on the scanner. The associated asset transaction is designed to assign a new asset tag to an existing asset within GP. This works great for adding tags to assets already in the system or replacing a damaged or missing asset label. Our group asset transaction allows for mass updates of asset for financial assignments, retirement, or even intercompany transfers. Asset labels, or tags, are often specially ordered with a serialized order of digits and are applied to the assets to aid in the trackability and add the ability to scan barcodes. Panatrack works with dedicated vendors to produce tags to users' needs. This can include different colors for departments or asset classes, property of information, phone numbers, and even logos. The Panatrack team can assist in the design of these asset tags. Materials and adhesives are intended to be permanent or even destructible to prevent the removal or the switching of tags between assets. The PanatrackerGP Fixed Asset Solution can be run on a variety of Android-enabled devices, including dedicated scanners or using a bring-your-own-device such as phones and tablets that meet the Panatrack minimum requirements. Using the embedded scanner or onboard camera reduces the likelihood of errors in data transposition, as well as easing the ability of the user to capture that asset tag. The Panatrack team will assist you in confirmation or the selection of devices to be used. The asset query transaction allows a user to scan the barcode on a physical asset and see the details relating to that asset's information, including the manufacturer, model, serial number, as well as location, physical location, and structure. If the user-definable fields configurable within Dynamics GP are enabled for your assets, Panatrack will display those in the UDF field, accessed through the menu in the top right corner. In addition to scanning asset tags, the Panatrack lookup list can be used to peruse a list of all available assets for the user. The Add Asset transaction on Panatrack allows a user on the device to create a new asset record. This record includes all of the physical components of the asset, but does not touch on the financial aspect. The financials are handled within Dynamics GP. Users can access the lookup lists for any fields that have the box around their name. For example, short name, and we can select computer. And the user can work through their asset record, creating this new asset ID. Our asset ID in this case will match the asset tag that we scan, and our user can then enter a serial number for the asset and additional information such as manufacturer, model, and then we get into our location, physical location, and other information. This can again be accessed and entered through a barcode scan, through the device keypad, or through the Panatrack lookup list, where an asset is assigned to Alfreda, Building 1, Room 200, structure 300. We can assign a master asset ID or a custodian if we so wish. Once a custodian has been entered, the asset is created and our user is prompted to create their next asset utilizing that same information. This plays a role in making things easier for companies who are adding multiple pieces of equipment, for example, laptops or tools, to their asset record at once. And our user can move through the same way. We can scan a new serial number and we can move on. The add asset transaction results in the creation of a new asset record in Dynamics GP populated with the information entered on the scanner. As mentioned previously, there is no ability for a Panatrack scanner to impact the accounting details for an asset. That must be managed by your accounting team within Dynamics GP. All transaction records can be viewed in the Panatrack portal after submission. The update asset transaction allows a user to select an asset either through a lookup list or the scanning of an asset tag, and then make changes to the physical records for that particular asset. For example, we can scan our asset tag and we can now change something such as the location and physical location if we so choose. Using our lookup list, we'll assign this to Decatur, and we'll leave the physical location blank for the moment while also changing our structure to structure 200. If a custodian needs to be renamed, we can do the same thing here, selecting our custodian atom bar and hitting submit. This now updates the asset record within Dynamics GP. The update asset transaction alters the asset record within Dynamics and is often used when assets are assigned to a no location, person, or even when they're placed into use. The Panatrack Validate asset allows a user to take a physical inventory of a location and physical location, along with other details, and ensure that assets are located where they're expected to be. In our case, we'll enter our user ID as Alex, and we'll enter our location and physical location as Alfreda, Building 1, Room 100. We'll do that with the Panatrack lookup lists. And now that we've assigned that information for our validate asset transaction, our user can skip down to our asset tag field and begin scanning asset tags within that physical location. When an asset tag is scanned, Panatrack will confirm that that asset is where it belongs. Should we scan an asset tag for an asset that's located somewhere else, the Panatrack user will be presented with this warning message and will ask the user if they'd like to move that asset. We'll say yes, and that will update the asset record for that particular piece of equipment. As our user moves through, they are validating each one of those assets. Going to our review screen shows us all of the assets in the location, and you'll note that our assets that we have validated are moved down to the bottom of the list. Those that have not yet been validated remain at the top. The validate asset transaction resulted in an update to the verified date and PIN fields in Dynamics GP, indicating the latest date at which an asset was verified. This is often used to generate a smart list and identify assets that have been misplaced or underutilized. The associate asset transaction allows our user to select an existing asset and update the asset tag information. We can narrow down our asset based on our filters, such as location and physical location here, even by class and serial number. We can select our asset from our asset ID field here, and it'll tell us that this already has an asset tag set. It may be the case that that asset tag was damaged, or perhaps the case of a computer was rebuilt, and we now need to assign a new asset tag. We can do this right here by tapping yes, and scanning our new asset ID. With the ability to scan and update assets in real time on the Panatrack scanner, PanatrackerGP makes asset management easier to handle and process. Leveraging the powerful capabilities of the Dynamics GP Fixed Asset module, along with the flexibility and mobility of PanatrackerGP, true asset tracking is now available to your team. We're looking forward to helping you and your team improve your asset management processes. please contact us by email, phone, or the Contact Us form on our website, www.panatrack.com.